Did you know that the iconic horror film Scream almost had a completely different title, or that the film was inspired by a real case? Stay tuned because in the next few minutes, we're going to reveal 10 surprising facts about the first Scream movie that will leave you in shock. So in this video, we're diving into the behind the scenes of the 1996 classic, uncovering secrets and facts you probably never heard of. Scream was directed by Wes Craven, a renowned name in the horror universe for his work on the 1984 film A Nightmare on Elm Street. Craven, known for his ability to create atmospheres of suspense and fear, brought his expertise and unique vision to Scream, solidifying his reputation as a master of the genre. Craven's direction was crucial to the success of Scream as he managed to combine classic horror elements with an innovative approach, resulting in a film that not only paid homage to the genre, but also revitalized it. The connection between Scream and A Nightmare on Elm Street also demonstrates the continuity and evolution of Craven's style. While A Nightmare on Elm Street introduced the iconic Freddy Krueger and redefined psychological horror, Scream took the slasher genre to new heights. Craven's trajectory as a director continues to be an example of innovation and excellence in horror cinema. Originally, the film Scream was not going to be called that. The initial title considered for the project was Scary Movie. This choice made a direct allusion to the horror genre, referring to the classic elements that would be explored in the film. However, the change to Scream occurred after discussions between the producers and the studio, who were looking for a name that better captured the essence of the suspense and psychological terror present in the film. Interestingly, Scary Movie ended up being used years later as the title of a successful parody of the Scream franchise itself and other horror films, showing how the name change was the right decision for both projects. The iconic Ghostface mask is one of the most recognizable images in horror cinema. But did you know its inspiration came from a famous painting? The mask was inspired by the work The Scream by Norwegian artist Edvard Munch. This expressionist painting, which depicts a figure with a distorted face and a scream of anguish, captured the essence of fear and despair, feelings that the producers wanted to evoke in the film. The creation of the Ghostface mask was a process full of surprises. During the search for a distinctive look for the killer, the production team found a cheap Halloween mask in a prop store. Immediately, the resemblance to Munch's The Scream figure caught their attention. The mask, with its elongated lines and expression of absolute terror, seemed perfect for the film. Director Wes Craven saw in it the potential to become a horror icon, and thus the mask was adapted for the character. The choice to use the Ghostface mask was a masterstroke. It not only provided a unique visual identity for the killer, but also added an extra layer of meaning to the film. A script for Scream, created by Kevin Williamson, has roots in a real and grim story. The case of serial killer Danny Rolling, known as the Gainesville Ripper. Rolling was a notorious criminal who terrorized the region by breaking into houses at night, dressing entirely in black, and using a costume similar to the killers in Scream. He carried a knife that closely resembled the one in the film, and his victims were 4 university students. Fortunately, after an intense manhunt, Danny Rolling was captured and was executed in 2006 for his heinous crimes. In addition to the influence of the Danny Rolling case, Scream also received important inspiration from the 1978 film Halloween, which is one of Kevin Williamson's favorites. One of the most impactful decisions during the production of Scream was the casting, especially the choice of Drew Barrymore to play Sidney Prescott. Initially, Barrymore was cast in the lead role of Sidney, but an unexpected last-minute change altered the course of the film. Drew Barrymore suggested she play the character Casey Becker, the victim in the iconic opening scene. This surprising decision brought significant impact to the film, both narratively and promotionally. The choice of Barrymore for the role of Casey Becker was strategic and revolutionary. As a known and respected actress, her presence at the beginning of the film conferred emotional weight and a sense of unpredictability to the plot. The shocking death of her character in the first minutes of the film set a tone of suspense and tension, signaling to viewers that no one was safe, regardless of their fame. This moment subverted expectations and captivated the audience from the start. With Barrymore in the role of Casey, the search for a new Sidney Prescott began. Neve Campbell, who at the time was known for her work on the TV series Party of 5, was chosen to play the film's heroine. Campbell's portrayal of Sidney became iconic, marking her as one of the most memorable final girls in horror cinema. To get the role of journalist Gale Weathers in Scream, Courteney Cox faced an unexpected challenge. In 1996, the actress was widely known for her role as Monica Geller on the series Friends, a charismatic and often lovable character. The disparity between Cox's public image and the more abrasive and assertive personality of Gale Weathers created a significant barrier, as producers were skeptical about the actress's ability to distance herself from her familiar persona and successfully portray a bitch. Determined to show that she could take on a completely different role, Courteney Cox took a direct and personal approach to overcome the producer's resistance. She wrote a letter to director Wes Craven, passionately arguing that despite her fame as a likable and well-intentioned character, she had the versatility and skill needed to play a provocative and ruthless journalist. In the letter, Cox highlighted her ability to explore new facets of her acting, contrasting with the image many had of her due to her work on Friends. Wes Craven, the brilliant director of Scream, made an intriguing cameo in the film. In a notable scene, he appears as the killer hiding in Casey Becker's house window, played by Drew Barrymore. Craven's appearance is not just a fun reference, but also a way to honor his contribution to the horror genre. Besides this direct cameo, Craven also makes a second appearance in the film as a school janitor, dressed in a uniform that nods to the famous Freddy Krueger, a character he created in A Nightmare on Elm Street. During the filming of Scream's iconic opening scene, a small detail turned into a big incident. In an unexpected twist, someone forgot to disconnect the phone Drew Barrymore was using to call for help during the terror scene. As a result, the 911 line was activated, and emergency operators actually heard Barrymore's anguished screams on the other end, believing they were dealing with a real emergency. Imagine the confusion that followed. 911 operators received calls with Drew Barrymore's desperate voice asking for help, immediately raising suspicions about the authenticity of the situation. Originally, the vision for the killer's iconic costume in Scream was a completely different look. The initial plan was for the costume to be white, aiming to intensify the ghostly resemblance. However, this idea was quickly abandoned due to a very serious and valid concern. The producers feared that the costume's appearance could inadvertently resemble the notoriously associated garb of the racist Ku Klux Klan group. The possibility that the white costume could provoke undesirable and offensive associations was a crucial consideration for the team. The last thing the creators wanted was for the film to be misinterpreted or associated with symbols of hate and racism. Therefore, the decision to change the color and design of the costume was a prudent measure to avoid any negative connotations and ensure the focus remained on the terror and intrigue rather than raising controversial issues. Ghostface's black mask and costume became a trademark of the film, contributing to its lasting success and visual impact on the horror genre. Scream was strategically released in December, just 5 days before Christmas, in a bold move by the studio. At the time, the holiday season was dominated by family-oriented releases, and horror films were generally sidelined. The studio saw an opportunity to fill this gap and offer audiences an exciting alternative during a period when the horror genre rarely had space. This choice of release date was both an experiment and an attempt to challenge the norm. At its premiere, the film did not have a promising start, ranking fourth with a box office of $6.4 million. This initial performance made the studio fear that Scream might be a flop. However, what seemed like a lukewarm reception was quickly overcome by the power of word of mouth. As audiences began to talk about the film and recommend the terrifying experience, the popularity of Scream grew exponentially. Each week, the film began to improve its box office position, defying expectations and proving that the release strategy was not only bold, but also brilliant. By the end of its run, Scream surprised everyone by grossing over $100 million at the US box office, an impressive result that solidified its status as an unexpected success and a landmark in the horror genre. So, did you guys enjoy these facts about the first Scream movie? I hope you had fun and learned something new about this horror classic that continues to scare and entertain to this day. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave your like. It helps the channel grow and bring more cool content like this for you. And if you have any comments, whether it's a fun fact you know or your thoughts on the movie, leave them below. I'd love to hear your opinion. Oh, and don't forget to ring the bell to receive notifications whenever a new video goes live. That way you stay on top of everything happening on the channel and don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.